Lots of things in this world are uncertain, like the chances of your favorite basketball team winning on a game, or like knowing what's the weather for tomorrow, or finding the odds of you winning on a lotto bet. I'm G, and for this video, I will share to you a thing or two about basic probability. So what is probability? Probability is the chance or likelihood for an event to happen or occur. Take this coin, for instance. What is the possibility of getting heads or tails? To get the probability, you must know two things first: the value of your favorable outcomes and the total number of possible outcomes. So a coin has only two sides, heads and tails. Therefore, there are only two possible outcomes. So the probability of getting tails or heads is 1/2 or 50%. Or take a roulette with 8 numbers, for example. Since it has 8 panels, the chances of getting a certain number is 1/8 or 12.5%. Now, let's look at some sample problems here to practice our knowledge in getting a probability. So this is our first problem. If a coin is tossed 2 times, what is the probability of getting at least 1 heads? So following our formula, we must first know the value of both favorable and possible outcomes. We can create a table here, or we can call it as sample space. So getting back to the question, imagine a coin being tossed. For the first toss, there are only 2 possible outcomes: heads or tails. But on the second toss, the value of the possible outcome expands. So heads, another is tails, then tails, and heads. So let's acquire the value of possible outcomes. So we got 4 possible outcomes. How about the favorable outcomes? Problem says we need to get at least 1 heads, which are, so we have heads, then tails, and tails, and tails and heads. Now, we have at least 1 head, so we have this one, heads, tails, and then tails, heads. So there are 3 favorable outcomes, which means the probability of getting at least 1 heads is 3/4 or 75%. But if the coin is tossed 3 times, what is the probability of getting at least 2 heads? So let me first identify all possible outcomes on our sample space. So in the first toss, we get heads and tails. For the second toss, we get another heads and tails, On the third toss, we get another heads and tails, heads, tails, heads, tails, and heads, tails, which is resulting to three heads, H, 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 T, H, T, H, H, T, 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 H, H, T, H, T, 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 H, and three tails. So in total, we know that there are 8 possible outcomes. So next, we can identify the value of favorable outcomes. We need the probability of getting 2 heads. So the outcomes we need are HHT, HTH, HH, and HHH. Meaning we have 4 possible outcomes. So the probability is 4/8, or simply 1/2, or 50%. Okay. Now, we need to know the probability of getting exactly 1 heads. We already have the total possible outcomes from our earlier sample space, so we only need to know the value of our favorable outcomes. So we need exactly 1 head. So we have the HTT, the TTH, and the THT. The value is 3, therefore, the answer is 3/8, or 37.5%. Now, let's head to our next problem. On our next problem, on a 6-sided die, what is the probability of getting a 2? So again, we need to know the probability of getting a 2. So the possible outcomes will always be a 6, since it is a 6-sided die. So we will write 1, since there is only one side of the die, which has a number 2. And now, the answer is 1/6, or 16.7%. How about getting a 1 or 6? So since there is only a single side for a 1 and a 6 on the die, here, we'll put a 2 here. Meaning the probability is 2/6, or 1/3, or approximately 33.3% of these events occurred. Then how about knowing the chances of getting a number greater than 3? Looking at our sample space, there are only 3 favorable outcomes: the 4, the 5, and the 6, which this is greater than 3. So the answer to this question is 3/6, or again, 1/2, or 15%. So how about the likelihood of getting a number less than or equal to 5? So the value of our possible outcome is 5, since 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is less than or equal to 5. And of course, 5 is included, since the number must be equal or less than, resulting on our answer to 5/6, or 83.3%. So that's how basic probabilities and samples on how to use it on different scenarios. Hope you learned something, and thank you very much.